Okay, everybody, welcome to the studios, the palatial studios of Late Night Baltimore. And yes, you've you're not going to believe that we have a special guest. No, not the special guest, the returning star of the show, Mr. Fez.
Hi
How's it going,
everyone.
Fez?
Uh,
The
it,
season's going pretty good for the Dolphins, huh?
yeah, and m- pe- uh, people out there are great subscribers and new members. This is really Fez, not AI. So um, we're ready to get started.
Yeah, we're
Great
ready to get
show.
started now. In about, listen, how many hours? 12, 13 hours, the game starts, something like that. And it's taking place 3 miles from here. And this is the last bottle of whiskey. I am drinking this. I went down to the Royal Farms this afternoon. What do you think I saw down there, Fez?
Justin Tucker.
Uh, Almost. I saw a sign. I said I had to use the facilities. I asked the person behind the counter. She pointed me to the sign that said, "No public bathrooms." And I said, "That's okay. I need a private one."
Uh,
Okay, that was an attempt at the jokes. But let's get to the sports. Right now, Dallas is looking like they're going ahead of the Lions. But before we get to the Miami Ravens game, 1 o'clock tomorrow, right? Or 8 o'clock?
um,
Is it a night game? No,
that was, I believe
it's 1 o'clock, right?
yeah, we're checking
We don't
that.
know.
I don't,
We're on the
yeah, I
game
don't think it's,
24 hours. We
yeah.
don't need clocks here.
Well, we just know it's tomorrow.
I think it's one. Okay. First, I'm going to go up the list. Before we go over that game, I'm going to go up the list of teams, and you tell me what you think of them and their chances of actually going to the playoffs. Okay, I start in the teams in the AFC that are on the hunt. Was the Colts? They're 9-7. They are the seventh seed if time travel was real and we were starting the playoffs were starting today.
I'd say outside chance. Colts have played better, but uh, I don't know. You can still trust your a backup quarterback to get you to the playoffs when there's other competitive teams.
Okay,
But
that. Oh, go ahead. Okay, all right. The sixth seeded team, if the playoffs were to start today, and that would be weird. But the Bills are 9-6. What do
I,
you think of them, Fez?
I say the Bills will are going to lose the Dolphins the last game, but they're going to be in the playoffs. I'd say yes, the Bills being in playoffs.
So you think the Bills will win one of their last two games and make the playoffs?
Yes.
Now here's a team that seems to be dropping. The Jags.
Jags have shown complete collapse, but the thing about it is you have that good coaching, and if Trevor Lawrence can get completely healthy, there's a
They're
good
the fourth
possibility
seed. They're 8-7.
for the Jags. I say Jags will be in.
The Jags are 8-7, and the Colts are 9-7. Why are the Colts not a higher seed in the same division?
Because
Jags
the
haven't played.
Jags haven't played, and the Jags are probably ahead in the head to head. And since they haven't played, they don't. I don't think they move them up.
Okay, now we come to the. They're in the hunt. They're the third ranked team, but they're not in the playoffs. and that is the Chiefs.
Chiefs will be in the playoffs. Of course, they'll win that division because uh, basically they've already won that. The next team is 7 and it is 500.
You think they?
Um,
What do you? How? Why are they? So,
we're
besides,
actually below
why do you
500.
think they're having such trouble?
There's trouble because they're. I think Patrick Mahomes might have an injury that's lingering, affects his play, and they don't really have great outside receivers. They're proving themselves. Um, they have a excellent offensive line. It seems he doesn't get sacked much for a number of attempts, but they just seem their offense is just not in sync.
Maybe they'll.
But they also but what's in their favor is that they have the second ranked defense in yards and their second ranked defense in scoring defense. So next to the Ravens.
Yeah, I mean, so
But I don't think they're going to the Super Bowl. But I think they'll probably it, win a playoff game.
and also I would like to say, there's a lot of you out there. They got to be rethinking their thoughts. You got to not bother Taylor Swift. She's cool. Kelsey, he's cool. So a lot of you are going to rethink about them, right?
Yes. The thing about it is, uh, you can't beat you you those MAGA people can't beat out the number of Swifties there are. I guess they're called that. Her fans aren't going to drop her, but she has helped register a lot of her fans, which could could be the tilling point for uh, Joe Biden winning and Democrats winning. So uh, she's a kind person, so leave her alone.
Yes, and also, really, the big haters of her are Barstool Sports, and they are
Yeah, stay away from
the
them.
MAGA. Don't go with them. Stay away from them. Don't listen to them.
Yeah.
David Portnoy complaints is they're trouble. Okay, I'm going to the NFC with the teams that are not in the playoffs. So you can go quick. Seahawks 8-7. There's 3 spots available.
Okay,
They're the
these
7th seed.
Seahawks, I say, go to the playoffs if Geno Smith plays the last 2 games. Uh, if he doesn't, they don't go to the playoffs.
Now here's a team with a great deal of talent. The next team, the 6th, they're not in the playoffs yet. They're 8-7, and they are your Los Angeles Rams. A
Uh,
lot
the,
of talent, but a
the
lot of quit or something.
the thing about it is, I could see them. They should make the playoffs, but uh, it's one of those things where coach is overrated, car
Yeah,
offensive guru,
that's right.
and but
A couple of years ago, they
they've
had
got
the All Pro team, and they won the Super Bowl. That's not that hard. Okay, the Buccaneers. I mean, I guess if everybody's going to
uh,
say Belichick, it's all Belichick because the Patriots are losing. Well, what are they going to say now? The Buccaneers are winning and are 4th seeded, and they might make the playoffs. Does that mean? So that must mean that Tom Brady has nothing to do with.
yeah, because
If you're thinking that way, which I am not.
if if you
I
think
don't think that
if you
way.
think that way, Baker Mayfield is what with the same with less talent actually. a better quarterback than Tom Brady because uh, they made the playoffs in Tom Brady's last year, but they had a losing record, and the way the Bucks are playing now, they'll at least be 9-8. So
Okay, that's true. And now we go to the Cowboys. They're in the playoffs. They're the fifth seed. They're 10-5.
yeah, the
Miami
Cowboys.
Miami beat them pretty smart against the Cowboys. The Cowboys look like they're winning tonight against the Lions, but it's early.
Cowboys only go as far as their home field advantages, which right now uh, doesn't look good for them as far as considering Philadelphia the uh, has the Cardinals and the Giants in the last two games. Uh, Once
Yeah,
Dallas goes on the road,
yeah. You ever seen a
they're
team
going to lose.
that Jekyll and Hyde? They not only do they win their home games, they're big blowouts.
Yeah, they average almost twice as many points at home than they do on the road. They have they average over almost 40 points a game at home. Uh, Almost a point of half of that on the road. So that's very odd. But
I don't know. Maybe they're homesick or something.
but if they don't have the home field advantage throughout, which doesn't look like they're going to be able to secure at this point, they're making the playoffs. They're a talented team, but they're going to lose once they go away from home.
Okay, then the third team that is already in the playoffs and the third seed are the Detroit Lions. Don't know how this game tonight is going to turn out, but the Lions seem like the best team almost in the or the team that seems to want it the most. Everybody else is flatlining at, and Cowboys.
Yeah. And Detroit, both of us were extremely high on their on Coach Campbell uh, when he took over for the Dolphins as interim coach. We thought he just needed more time as an assistant, but he would be a great head coach. And he's turned Jared Goff around. They're they are, I believe they're a better team than Dallas. I just thought Dallas would win because it was at Dallas. So
Here's an important note to go along with that game. Troy Aikman hates delay of game called against the team, and Jared Goff had 3 delay of game calls. Just wanted to note that he was going on and on about it in the telecast.
yeah, I wonder what he um, where the one where J.J. Watt even uh, commented on when Zach Zealer, the Dolphins, uh, made a lateral move and they called it delay game.
All right, number 2 in the NFC are the inexplicable Eagles.
Eagles have Jalen Hurts fully healthy. Um, they got a healthy. They have one of the top offenses without a doubt. Defense is very suspect.
Yeah, the defense is
There's
really
a lot
horrible.
of points.
It's like they played horribly in the Super Bowl and
Yeah,
it continued it into this season.
yeah,
And well, they're getting into a little luck now. They have like the Giants again, even though
yeah.
they
Their
just played them.
schedule. They have the Cardinals and the Giants the last two games.
So they could end up 13-4 despite really not playing well at all. I still like Jalen Hurts, but I think, yeah, like you say, there's another quarterback that might be having injury problems that we don't know about, but he's still one of the top quarterbacks. Then we come to the even more mysterious 49ers. They were given the Super Bowl ring about 4 times in December by the NFL, the media at large, and they had blown out last week.
Yeah, the 49ers were seen as the are so far ahead and has the most physical team that another team proved they were more physical and and really basically beat the crap out of them.
Yeah, and I haven't heard, but it updates, but it looked like Brock Purdy's arm was dangling there on a string towards the end of the game. Like we said, I mean, we're always bragging about some of the things we said, but some of the things we kind of are ahead of the curve. Like we're saying the 49ers have incredible talent, maybe one of the most talented teams on paper in a long time, but that coach,
Yeah,
he just is
the
going
coach
to
is not up
stumble.
to the talent, even though he's given
He's going to
so
stumble
much credit. Has
in the
some
heated
great
moments.
guru. His decision making and just yeah, odd decisions, like keeping Brock Purdy in that championship game last year, when you know he couldn't throw, and the Eagles knew he couldn't throw, so you just gave up the game. Um,
Yeah,
and then,
that. But then this year,
well, then this year
their
you,
talent is spectacular. Nobody can say it isn't.
yeah,
But they're going
and
to
then they,
in clutch moments with that coach.
but the thing about it is, right, playoffs are different from regular season because playoffs, those teams, everything is so focused on being physical and people get up for it, especially if you're going to be the number one seed. So
And I don't mean
they better
be not
watch out for that.
respectful of Sam Arnold.
Darnold.
He's probably a lovely person, but the man was not good enough to be on the Jets, right? So
Yeah, the Jets got.
I don't know. I don't know if that's the guy. But who knows? If Brock Purdy comes back in perfect health, then they're doing a lot better than we think.
Another
Now,
thing is the Brock Purdy thing yeah about being in a race for MVP. The If anyone won the MVP from that team would be Chris McCaffrey.
yeah, even though I mean he can't. Brock Purdy, he's played well, but yeah, you're right.
But I mean, the weapons are there and they're consistent. I mean,
Yeah, they're
you
incredible.
got guys you never heard of having a 20 yards catch or something.
Yeah, I mean, you see some of those players,
Yeah,
and you look at their stats, and you're just shocked.
the joke is like Debo Samuel. Yeah, he's third string.
And now we
But you
come.
got
Okay, we'll
okay.
go back to the AFC. We did the teams that are in the hunt. There's 4 available spots in the AFC. There's 3 already in. We'll start with the Browns. Very strange. Our old pal Joe Flacco. I mean, you can't hate Joe Flacco, but the Browns are 11-5,
Yes.
and they're in the playoffs. They've got a great defense, a great offensive line. So yeah, I'm kind of scared about
And
the if they come to Baltimore.
the game against the Jets, they scored all those points. They were without their, their top receiver and their top running back's been out the whole year. So um, they got a offensive line that can keep the running game going. And so now you got a quarterback who can get the ball down the field
Yeah,
and is accurate. So
he is accurate. He's back. He was always when he was healthy. He was always a guy who could was tough,
he always had
and
a
he always had the incredible arm.
he just he had like a cannon arm, but like if you were shooting it out of a machine because he couldn't really move. But I see him now. He looks like
He's doing
he
great. He's
did
throwing some
when he was
interceptions.
in the um,
But here's what I'll say about Joe. I have a Joe story. In the heat of the summer, when the Ravens used to play or practice at in Westminster at McDaniel College, I was there for the first day. I think you were there. The first day of camp. Went out there. This was Joe Flacco was a rookie. This was his first being seen in public. It was pretty cool back then when they had the summer
Oh yeah,
training
we had
camps
it there. Yeah.
But I remember when the quarterbacks lined up, they each threw two other guys. I don't even remember their names, but each threw it down the field long, and then Joe Flacco throws his long pass, and it was like a hush in the crowd because it was the most incredibly perfect spiral that I mean, unless you've seen it, and he still throws like that,
But
but
it's
he
almost
also
like
throws a lot of interceptions.
it's that he has a kid in the arm that he knows how you can see that on passes that are shorter that he's taking something off of the pass in order not to overthrow because his arms that strong as receivers.
And of course, for some mysterious reason, he's sped up about 10 times. There's no
Yeah. Now he moves.
stumbling to the center, going
Yeah,
too slow
fumbling.
to get up, fumbling, not knowing the plays.
Yeah.
Eh,
Or standing there like a Statue of Liberty, not moving,
yeah,
and
or
then get sacked before you could even throw it. Now you see him doing things Lamar Jackson and Tua and Patrick Mahomes do when he actually saw him roll out, run past the defensive player and throw it on the run across his body, so and complete it for a big
yeah. I
gain.
mean,
I haven't seen that in Joe.
where's Joe Flacco who
Even in
walks
when he
like
played the Ravens.
walks like there's 5 minutes to get to the line of scrimmage?
Yeah.
Never seemed to know exactly the play. A safety would be on the line for coming in for a blitz. Who was that guy with the long hair? Was a crazy guy in Pittsburgh?
Um, Pablo Malo.
Yeah. He came. Well, this is a game that was typical of Joe Flacco. Paul Malo lined up right on the line of came up right to the line of scrimmage before the snap, and all the offensive line, the center, were pointing. The ones that you can't really move if you're on it, and Joe just had no idea. He goes back, does the play anyway, and it was a Pittsburgh win. He got sacked. The rest is history somewhere.
He seems to have gained also. It seemed to have even be better on his pocket presence because that's one thing all the talent he had on the Ravens. How many times he would get hit and not know where the pressure's coming from. He seems to have gotten way better on that. So
he's a great guy and all. I'm scared of the narrative that the story would he'd come here and just because it would be so strange, this happens in the NFL. He beats the Ravens and some kind of upset. I'm scared of that. I don't want that to happen. Okay, now we go to the Dolphins. The Dolphins. This very show was birthed by the belief that nobody else had. I know we keep saying that. That's why you got to subscribe. We had this show was born under the idea that the two best teams in the NFL would be the Miami Dolphins and the Baltimore Ravens. According to most NFL media, the Dolphins, Tua was going to be benched.
replaced by Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah, they weren't. FanDuel had them at wins over under at 9.5.
Yeah, and let me just say the physical evidence of it. We bet the over, and we've already won.
Yeah.
So our next podcast, I can show you that the ticket to prove that we are right.
Even their own, even though local Miami people like the Big O show were saying like McDaniel, if they don't do well, he's gone. It's all over. And now they sit 11-4. Yeah, they haven't. There's no good teams in the league. All the teams in the NFC are spiraling downward.
Yeah, what they said about other teams is, um, you only can play who you're scheduled to play. Teams change every
Yeah,
year, but when it comes to Miami, oh, they have played anyone.
they got upset by Tennessee, and they're 11-4. I
Yeah,
mean, what can you do?
despite
They probably will end up
having
at least 12 and
a
5.
injury issues that most teams could not cope with losses.
And it seems like they've gotten their defense back in stride with.
Yeah, even though I think it was since Jalen Ramsey returned, they went from the 27th scoring defense to the 13th, allowing since 15.7 points a game.
Yeah, the
Since,
defensive
and
coordinator.
they're ranked fourth
What?
in defense now.
Yeah, they got a pretty
From
strong
being
defense. What's the fellow's name? The defensive coordinator.
Vic Fangio.
Okay, Vic Fangio. This is a side story. When he was coach of the Broncos, the Ravens wanted Lamar to get like a few extra yards. That's all. And so they ran instead of taking a knee at the end of the game. They just had Lamar run out, and that is stuck. And Nick,
What?
the guy's name? Vic Fangio.
Vic Fangio.
Vic
Yeah.
Fangio said that because I think he has a history with the Ravens too. He said, yeah, that's the way they are. That's the way they don't care about the safety of their players. So I don't know. I think that might be just people trying to gin up a story. But you don't have to gin up a story.
Vic Fangio is a serious all football kind of guy. That spends hours, doesn't probably sleeps in his office or a facility they have there, um, studying film over and over again.
Yeah, and then I think also the media has finally gotten over the fact that Mike McDaniel looks like a edgy independent filmmaker. Yeah, we've heard that all season. He's done a great job. When the backups get in there, they sometimes get slow on the with the delay of games, but that's because it's a backup quarterback. Tua has turned elite. He leads the league in like everything, right?
He leads the league and he's in yards right now, and he's completed over 70% of his passes, and he has 26 touchdown passes.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's the MVP or Tyreek Hill.
He hasn't thrown an interception in 2 or 3 games.
If Tyreek Hill comes back full healthy, Miami is like, this is their best chance to win a Super Bowl in like 30 years, right?
Yes, since probably the before
the Bears,
probably
85.
The early 90s is probably their best chance because before Don Shula retired, Dan Marino's on.
And what are the Dolphins leaders in?
Dolphins.
Or how are they ranking? How are they ranking offense?
They're ranked number 1 offense.
How about defense?
Defense is ranked number 4.
Yeah, I mean, what? You can't get much better than that.
The Ravens are.
Yeah, let's get to the Ravens.
The number 1 scoring defense, and they're also lead the league. They're the number 1 rushing offense.
Yeah,
and Lamar they also lead the league
playing out of his mind.
In sacks. They have 58, but amazing that one thing that Miami's never had. This year they have 56 sacks.
I mean,
So And that's
Yeah.
without they've gone Jalen Phillips, their top pass rusher coming in. He's out the year. They lost Jerome Baker for the year, their captain, middle linebacker. Um, they had Jalen Ramsey missed a lot of the season start, and Javon Holland now has missed time. Rated as on PFF as the top safety
And
of the league.
also they're the top rushing team in the league, right? Or one of them.
Oh, they were the Ravens are number one. Miami, the Dolphins are now number 5 rushing offense.
And the thing is about the Ravens rushing, they always say running back by committee. Uh, this is like the prototype, the archetype of the running back committee. They got like 5 guys that run the hell out of the ball. And the offensive line, everybody has stepped up pretty good. Lamar's having his best season ever. He's
Here's
pulled
another
the team
thing.
together, and the defense is playing out of their mind, man. They're almost illegal.
Here's another thing. You cannot, no matter what, if you say we've never said that about Lamar. We knew Lamar's uh, how good a quarterback he could be, and Todd Monken had his system has uh, Lamar Jackson healthy and fully into the system, and shows how smart he is, how he picked it up so fast. Another thing is, if you we had if there's a lot of Johnny come latelys about his passing ability, but we both of us in the beginning of his career knew that he was not a running back playing quarterback. He was a quarterback who could run, and uh, the most dynamic player
Yeah, there's
in
never been a player like
in
Lamar. This
the
is a,
NFL history.
like they say, a generational talent, like LeBron James talent.
Yeah, he's unique in that even if you try to say there's quarterbacks um, who who are better, there you cannot say any quarterback is more exciting
Yeah,
watching him play.
and,
That 30-yard run he made on the
yeah, like we were
49ers,
saying the last time.
you don't see running backs making those
The
kind of
NFC
runs.
hasn't, when they play him for the first time, they don't know what they're looking at.
Yeah, that's why he has a this year 5-0 at non-conference. He has not lost a non-conference game.
Yeah, so with Lamar, the COVID threw him into a kind of a weird blip. He was injured a lot, and he wasn't playing at the end of the season. It didn't look like he would play. He last year he didn't play. It looks like maybe he wasn't, or it was just press but stuff. But it looked like he wasn't going to. They were talking about him not being back, but we saw that one day that he went to a school and read to students. That was the way the Ravens were telling the press that he had gotten all his COVID shots.
Yeah, that's why because after that, when he was asked every time went in front of the microphone, and the coaches were about him being vaccinated, um, they never didn't ask it after that.
Yeah, because he was like they were like telling, okay, so he had and it he had problems with it, and he had problems at the end of last season. I don't think he even traveled at the end of the season, but this year with a new and they definitely needed a new plan, a new scheme.
Yeah, they hired the
Someone
perfect person.
like who was the guy before?
The guy before was Greg Roman.
Greg Roman designed out of nothing this incredibly inventive offense that just fit Lamar, and it worked incredibly well. But of course, it ran its course. This guy comes in, works with him a lot. I think a lot more works with him than coming up schemes. He has worked with him all through the off season, and Lamar is now really, I don't know. He's got to be in the. He ain't third. If you're talking about the best quarterbacks in the league, right?
Yeah, it's no longer this year. The Holmes has fallen off the mountain, and I think the two top tier quarterbacks are Tua and Lamar.
Now, Tom Brady. I know, Tom Brady. Okay, I'm just saying this. Brady is the greatest quarterback in this century, or the most accomplished. Definitely gave his all to win championships. He would do anything. But if you were given a choice to watch a game played by Tom Brady or a game played by Lamar Jackson, would you really think about it? I'm just
Yeah,
saying their style of play. And the Ravens' defense has gotten great. Their special teams.
yeah. I had to do a thank you to the Chicago Bears for giving uh, our Ravens right Roquan Smith, who's elevated the play of Patrick Queen and all the players around him, and then great draft choices that we knew were going to be great players like Kyle Hamilton. Um,
Yeah.
so
Who's the defensive coordinator?
Mike McDonald.
Yeah, Mike McDonald has done great. Their defense is really impressive this year.
Yeah. Another thing is
They
a
pummeled
comeback
pummeled.
player that should get some votes. Comeback player of the year is Michael Pierce. Everyone thought his career was over when he let the Ravens go to the Vikings and for free agency and got hurt and didn't play it. People thought that he wouldn't play again. He comes, the Ravens sign him back, and now he's playing lights out.
Yeah, and the fortunes are going so well that actually finally the joke about how they cannot draft in the first round a quality wide receiver is gone. That trope is out of here. That trope is troped out of here.
Yeah, I was able to look at the film of Zay Flowers at Boston College, and I knew this was going to be a great NFL receiver because it was his routes were precise, so precise. He was in the right place, right time. Um, his numbers compared to what his team finished, uh, that they weren't one of the top tier teams, was just his ability to um, run the exact route and and not drop balls.
Yeah, that's another thing. Everybody seems to be on the same page this season. It's not like uh, Lamar throws a bomb and it was actually everybody. The wide receiver thought it was like a down and out. And then something has to be said for the kid who took over as tight end, right? What's that fellow's name?
Oh yeah, Isaiah Likely.
Yeah, he's
Well,
really
he was
stepped
like
up.
was he's the unsung hero of because he was actually on the Patriots. That he was on the Dolphins, but he wasn't used like a tight end. As a tight end, he was a wide receiver at first. They converted him because after Mark Andrews got hurt, and he's done a. Of course, you can't really replace Mark Andrews, but he's um, he's done a good enough job that with the other receivers, better receivers coming in like Zay Flowers, you almost can sort of make up um, for Mark Andrews, but um, you can't really, But I gotta say, all the players have stepped up.
And we got to say something. John Harbaugh. He's great because why is he so great? He's great because he is he has the macro view. He's a manager, and he of the things that he doesn't know, he tries to get the best and he completely leaves his ego out of interrupting what they want to do. He lets the offensive coordinator do what they want to do, and the defensive coordinator what they want to do. Uh, and he manages the psychology of the team, the emotion of the team, and the overall, the big decisions of the team.
Yeah, he's a coach that there aren't a lot of coaches who are that humble that they will delegate and trust the people they put in place uh, to get the job done, and he's been right more times than not.
And
So
also about the Ravens to be that they give credit for is that they're every facet of the management, from the owner to the general manager to the coach, they are completely together on this. It's not one guy wants one thing and then leaks stuff to the press. One guy wants. They're a unit together. They wouldn't answer questions about Lamar when in the summer when they were being bothered about contract stuff. They're all on the same page, and that's always been the case. That's why they're a class of the. And I mean, they're one of the best teams in the NFL. The Dolphins are one of the best teams in the league. Comeback team. Tua has become an elite quarterback. I mean, nobody's talk. Guess what? Nobody's talking about. The Ravens should have gotten Herbert. You don't really hear that anymore. That's weird,
but
right?
yeah,
Okay, so Faz, your glorious return to late night Baltimore. Before we
before we go,
before
don't
we go, yes. The French. The French. Bona.
that's the if you want to keep hardwood floors looking brand new, make sure you get this product. It's a safe for all hardwood floors, um, and it does a great job cleaning. So go out and get yourself one.
The French. And it seems as if this is the last drop of this year's Jack Daniels. I know him so well. I think I want him. I think I should call him John. But anyway, also we not only are we the team that knew the Ravens and Dolphins were great, we got endorsed by Morgan Fairchild. What? Come on, what? What are you gonna? What are you gonna watch? Callan Cowherd with his cliches and mind changes every day.
Yeah, how about
Or bars.
or Rich Eisen, who had the Bills higher than Dolphins in team ranking?
Yeah, or Barstool Sports, which somehow thinks you have to be mean to cover sports.
For Big O, who you have to go ahead at least almost what a normal podcast goes just to get to to get to him and the content because of all the commercials.
I have a soft spot for Big O because he really does. I mean, I have to say, he really does seem to love the Dolphins to death. That seems to be his life.
But I
He
give him
just
credit that he's a
he goes up and
that
down so
he's
much.
he's been covering the Dolphins for so long. Um,
Yeah, 30
and
years.
and he lives in Miami, so
Okay, so the other thing.
okay.
Okay,
One
so
last,
wait, one last. Wait,
I
I'm gonna
have
say.
one last thing to
Oh,
say.
okay.
Okay, yeah, okay. We've already won the. We said the over on the Dolphins. You're right, we won. We said the over on the Ravens. We were right, we won. We said the under on the Jets. We're right, we won. So, um, and uh, and then
Oh, we're waiting for the Bills.
waiting for the
That's a little
Bills,
complicated.
but that's more complicated because we don't want to win that bet. So,
All right.
uh,
What was I gonna say?
I'm done.
Oh no, I had my last thing was for the night is please subscribe. That would be cool. No reason not to. And also, I would like to say that Fez's glorious return has brought warmth to the whole entire, not just me, but the entire sports community of Baltimore, to know that Fez, before New Year's, has returned to the stage of Late Night Baltimore, the real Baltimore show, the only real Baltimore show. And we have the Dolphins as, because, you got to diversify somewhat, right? But also, I want to say, and I'm going to ask you, Fez, before we check out. Now, winning top seed is not necessarily going to win you this. Is going to get you into the Super Bowl. The Ravens have failed the last 2 times they've been top seed. So it's not a guarantee, because you have that week off and you might get rusty and some team might come in. You never know. It's the NFL. Who knows? Okay, Fez, if you have to say, and I know you don't want to say, can you give us a score for tomorrow? You don't even have to say who wins. Can you give us a score?
My score is 20-20 final tie.
Okay, that would be interesting. I would say that the score is going to be 24 to 27 to 24. That's never the score anymore with 2-point conversion. No, I'll say it's 27 to 23 final score. Hoping Ravens, except Dolphins. Anything can happen. The Dolphins really can't. The Dolphins kind of embarrassed the Ravens last time they played last year.
Yeah. Your old pal Fezzi was at that game, so that was pretty incredible.
Yes, and so we'll be back after the game. After all these games are on weird times, we'll check out the Dallas game tonight. We'll be back, and please return and subscribe. I can't think of anything else. That's all. We say good night. Jack Daniel says good night. The French. Bono says good night. Is that French? Or is that Spanish?
It very well could be, but I know it works.
All right, let me get out there and get the camera. We'll see y'all next time on Late Night Baltimore.